By virtue of the authority conferred upon me, I constitute this assembly as a congregation of Cornerstone Institute. Thank you.
Morning, you can be seated. I'm just going to do a short prayer. Almighty God, we thank you for this momentous occasion, and we ask that you bless our proceedings and bless every graduate here. Amen. I'm handing over to our CEO for a welcome message.
Good morning, ladies, gentlemen, our president, our chairman of the board, directors, and especially our graduates. It is with a heart full of pride and gratitude that I address you as we gather to celebrate this momentous occasion, the graduation of remarkable Cornerstone individuals. This day marks the culmination of your academic journey and the beginning of a new chapter in your life. I extend my warmest congratulations to each one of you. We are, however, mindful that you have not achieved what you have on your own, and we must take the opportunity to turn to the others in this room, your supporters, your family and friends, the lecturers and staff of Cornerstone, the management and board of directors of Cornerstone, all who have contributed to you having achieved this milestone. Today, we gather under the theme of Sawubona, a word deeply rooted in the rich tapestry of South African culture. Sawubona is more than just a word. It is a profound expression of recognition and acknowledgement. It carries the power to foster understanding, unity, and empathy. In its essence, Sawubona means, I see you. It is an invitation to truly perceive one another, embrace diversity, and forge connections that transcend the surface. South Africa is a nation with a complex history, marked by both profound suffering and remarkable resilience. The struggles of apartheid and the journey towards reconciliation have deeply imprinted upon our collective consciousness the importance of acknowledging the humanity in everyone, regardless of their background, race, or beliefs. Sawubona encapsulates the spirit of inclusivity and determination to see past the differences, to recognize the inherent worth of every human being. In a country as diverse as ours, This concept of Sawubona extends beyond mere words. It is a call to action. It challenges us to confront prejudice and dismantle the barriers that hinder true understanding and unity. It encourages us to celebrate our differences while cherishing our shared humanity. As graduates of Cornerstone, you have been privileged to receive an education that emphasizes these very principles of inclusivity and social justice. Our institution was founded on the belief that education should be a force for positive change, a means to empower individuals, and a tool for betterment of society. As we look to the future, the role of education in South Africa and in the global context, it is undergoing a profound transformation. The challenges we face are immense, from the ongoing quest for social justice and equality to the rapid advancement in technology and the changing nature of work. In the advent of artificial intelligence and other technological marvels, our humanity, in all of its colorful array, will be the moral compass navigating us through these advancements. Cornerstone has always been a proponent of utilizing technological innovation for the advancement of education. Yet, we hold steadfast to the belief that technology should be an enabler and not a replacement for human connections. In a world increasingly divided by walls, both physical and metaphorical, Sawubona becomes a bridge. It reminds us that in an age of digital screens and virtual interactions, we must never lose sight of the fact that behind every screen is a real, breathing, feeling person. It urges us to see beyond the surface, to recognize the struggles, aspirations, and humanity that connect us all. The challenges of the future will demand a different kind of education, one that not only imparts knowledge, but also cultivates empathy, adaptability, and a deep appreciation for diversity. Your education here at Cornerstone has not been confined to the classroom. It has been an education of the heart and soul, fostering a sense of compassion and social responsibility. In South Africa, the education landscape is evolving as we strive to bridge the gap between historically disadvantaged communities and those with access to quality education. Sawubona reminds us that all children, regardless of their background, deserve an education that sees their potential and values their unique contributions. It is a call for opportunities for growth and development and to create a more inclusive society. I would like to end off. I leave you with this thought. Sawubona is not just a word, it's a way of life, a philosophy that can guide us in our personal and professional journeys. It reminds us that every person we encounter, whether in our classrooms, our workplaces, our communities, has a story to tell, a perspective to share, and a unique contribution to make. I urge you to embrace the spirit of Sawubona. See the potential in every challenge, the opportunity in every setback, and the humanity in every person you meet. Be the change makers, the visionaries, and the compassionate leaders that our world so desperately needs. Congratulations. We will now be addressed by our President, Professor Crane Sodin.
And just before Professor Crane goes forward, I would just like to read about this amazing man. We are actually so fortunate to have such distinguished academics in our presence. Professor Sudin is a consummate and internationally recognized scholar and leader in education and the social sciences. He is an A-rated researcher and over the years has made significant contributions to a range of scholarly and societal discourses about inter alia, social difference, culture, education policy, comparative education, transformation within academia, public history, and popular culture. His expertise in these areas, combined with his experience in academic leadership, has been applied in various contexts, including as Chief Executive Officer of the Human Sciences Research Council and Deputy Vice-Chancellor at the University of Cape Town. His extensive track record extends from being a teacher in high schools in Johannesburg and Cape Town, working as a field worker for the Wilgespreid Trust and as a temporary lecturer at the University of the Witwatersrand in Johannesburg. Oh, that was in the Department of Politics. And to the professor of the School of Education and in African Studies at the University of Cape Town. Throughout his career, Professor Sudin has contributed significantly to research in education and social sciences and has published over 240 articles, reviews, reports, and book chapters, and is the author of 13 books. In addition to this academic achievements, Professor Sudin has vast experience in educational leadership, serving on and chairing many different committees and boards. He is a fellow of several local and international academies and has served as an advisor to the government and various universities, as well as an impressive range of community-based and other organizations. He is a founder of the District 6 Museum. I'm sure you all know where that is. He serves as the chairperson of the Independent Examinations Board, as an honorary professor at Nelson Mandela University, and as a distinguished visiting professor at the University of Johannesburg. I now present to you Professor Crane Sudin. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ms. Beverly Dankers. We half agreed with the acting CEO before we walked in here that we wouldn't do that. But thank you. So I'd like to say a very good morning to all of you, and particularly to the chairperson of our board, Mr. Marcel Golding, members of our board, and invited guests, our acting chief executive, and all of you. And a really great pleasure to see you folks here. They're called graduands. They're not graduates yet. That comes in a few minutes. So at this particular point, graduands, I say to you how proud it is to be standing here in front of you. So I found our Chief Executive Officer's welcome to you this morning deeply inspirational. I saw it some weeks ago and thought that this theme that he had chosen, Sawubona, I see you, was extremely insightful. As a social commentator, Bridget Edwards says, Sawubona, I see you, is not simply saying hello. Like the Hindi greeting, namaste, it has many important meanings. One of them, as Bridget Edwards says, is this: the God in me sees the God in you. I see myself in your eyes. In the wider Zulu tradition, she carries on to explain, the greeting requires the reply, ngikona, which means I am here. Making clear, in some senses, that until you saw me, I didn't exist. She goes on to say that the isiZulu saying, umuntu, ngumentu, nagabantu, a person is a person because of other people, clarifies the meaning and significance of the greeting. As a gesture, it is simultaneously deeply social and spiritual. So thank you, Mr. Dramat, for your message. It was insightful for the times out of which we have come, the times we live in now, and the times into which we are entering. It is timely as we South Africans commemorate 30 years of our democracy, and as we acknowledge how the idea of Sawubona has changed our lives in some ways, and let me say, sadly, not in others. It is timely as we watch with great sadness the trauma of war and conflict around the world, in Gaza, in the Sudan, in Myanmar, and in the Ukraine, in our own backyards, in Nyanga, Philippi, and many parts of our country. I took particularly from Mr. Dramat's message his words, and I'm quoting him now, in a world increasingly divided by walls, both physical and metaphorical, Sawubona becomes a bridge. He urges us then to see beyond the surface, to recognize the struggles, aspirations, and I quote him, and humanity that connects us all. And so, graduates, I'd like to stay with our CEO's theme this morning. I want to go to that idea of the bridge to which he introduces us. That bridge is education. We, as human beings, cannot think enough about what education means, specifically in this context of human interaction, because the process of walking the bridge, crossing over, involves many things. Most important of these is what many philosophers talk of as recognition. We cross over and expect to see things, people, a world which we will recognize. But with all this complexity of our lives, with the frequency with which we now encounter new experiences, new places, new people, every day, that process of crossing doesn't get easier. It gets more difficult. The difficulty is manifold. It is manifold because crossing the bridge is fundamentally about a process of how we make sense. How we make sense of what is there in front of us. So let me talk for a minute about what that making sense is. And my darling wife, who read this before, said to me, "Stop being like a teacher." It's very hard not to be a teacher, let me say. But let me try and explain in a way which I hope is both educational but also meaningful for all of you. So this process of crossing the bridge begins with the ways in which the everyday life, the things around us, are brought into our heads, our consciousness, into our understanding. But a difficulty with which we have to deal in crossing that bridge is that nothing in our lives, in our existence, comes to us as it actually is. I hope that makes sense. Nothing comes to you when you see it as it actually is. We don't cross that bridge and automatically know and understand what is there in front of us. The process of seeing is, of course, a biological gift given to us by nature. Our eyes, as the eyes of all living creatures, make it possible for us to detect things in front of us. This is the gift of vision. To achieve vision, our eyes and brains work together. Lenses in our eyes focus light on our retinas, which convert the light into nerve signals, which are then sent to our brains. Our brains receive the signals and then must decode them to make sense of what we are seeing. That's quite teacherly, isn't it? But this is where the complexity starts, because decoding that signal in our brains is not an automatic thing. Because it comes to each of us, and this is really important, differently. For each of us, it is different when we see. Making sense, of course, is another nature which nature has given us. It is not, however, just biological. What we see or think we're seeing is a process called perception. Perception is different to vision. Perception is that process whereby, in that sense-making, we begin to classify the things that are happening in front of us. We classify them into things. So, here's the heart of the story. If you see something for the very first time, without having been told about it, it will make no sense to you whatsoever. It'll simply be a thing. It'll probably remain a mystery until something has helped you to come to make sense of it, to engage with it, fiddled with it, looked it up and down, and given it a name. Remember the children's storyteller, Dr. Seuss? Yeah? How many of you know Dr. Seuss? Yeah? Put your hands up. Good. So, Dr. Seuss understood perfectly this complexity of perception. He gave wonderful names to creatures who popped up in his imagination. Wockets, a bizarre company of creatures of all kinds, a lorax, the spotted atrocious, and then two characters in his book, his classic book, The Cat in the Hat, to whom he did not give names. They simply became to him Thing 1 and Thing 2. So what am I doing here, friends? I'm trying to make the point that perception is a learned thing. We have, through our parents, our friends, our teachers, or through our reading, had that Thing 1 and Thing 2 that Dr. Seuss encountered named for us. For example, your parents reading The Cat in the Hat to you may be called on by an insistent you to say, "Mummy, what is that Thing 1 and what is that Thing 2? If you were creative parents, sorry, I'm making no judgment about you, you may say to your child, "Okay, child, you make up a name to them. You make up a name for them." Now, you may or may not. I hope your parents do that. I hope you give, that opportunity to your children. Because if you do, what you're doing is engaging in that great, great exercise which every culture in the world undertakes. It classifies things and gives names to things. So just think about this. When you talk to somebody who comes out of an isiXhosa background, they will describe a cow to you in very, very different ways in which somebody who has a classic European education. Very, very different. So when you take the time at doing that and you think about Thing 1 and Thing 2 in Dr. Seuss, you may say to your child, "Let's try and find a way of doing this. What do you see in front of you?" You may say, "This Thing 1 has big blue hair. Let me give it a name." And a name that might make sense might be, "I'm a big blue." My own children did that. They did that for very strange things. For example, they didn't know the name for the weights that you hang on tablecloths, on outside tables to ensure that they didn't flap in the wind. You know those things, don't you? You know, they hang on the edge of the tablecloths. So my children decided that these things should be called tricycles. So to this day, in my family, everybody knows what you're talking about when you talk about these darn tricycles that you can't find. But they're very clear about, what it is that we're talking about. And what they were doing is that they were engaged in this great act of classifying. It was all good, wholesome. But what I want to say to you, that classifying can also be what the modern philosopher Judith Butler says is dark. We have dark ways of classifying. This is when one's perception is determined by bad classification. Bad classification is when the explanation which is prepared for us, for our sense-making, ends in what Mr. Drummond was talking about, prejudice, unwarranted and unjustified dislike and even hate. So think here of those of you who are sociologists, political science students, think of Frantz Fanon's famous discussion in his book, Blackface, White Masks, about a French child seeing a black man on a winter's day somewhere in France. The child says to his mother, "Look at the," and then uses the N-word, which I can't say. "Mama, a Negro." Fanon then proceeds to comment about how in that act of explanation, the man's body was given back to him, sprawled out, distorted, recolored. He says the little boy throws himself into his mother's arms. "Mama, the nigger's going to eat me up." Now, where did the boy get that from? He just didn't make it up. What the boy saw and how he made sense of what he saw, the process of classifying, was learned. He learned it from somebody or somebodies who had taught him that what he was seeing was a Negro and that Negroes eat people up. So we have seeing here, but it is based on very problematic classification. The thing is, of course, that as human beings, we will never stop classifying. But we have to be conscious always of how we do that and the consequences of how we do it. So this is where your education graduates comes in. When education works poorly, it hands over to the learning mind forms of classification that make that gift of vision a complete liability. It turns perception into paralyzing prejudice. A police officer sees a young black man and instantly sees danger. We have here classic recognition. "I see you," says the police officer, but he's not seeing a human being. They are seeing what the education has prepared them for. It's prejudice. So I'm a sociologist, and I'm fighting with my sociology friends every single day, simply about how we come to do our work. And I apologize to those of you who might be sociologists here in the room. I fight with them because they use descriptions, they use these perceptions in ways often that do the explanation before they have done their work as sociologists. Just think of this. So here's an example. Often, those, particularly you graduates, haven't you read something that goes like this? Linda Smith was a colored woman who lived in Cape Town. So, what does one do with that? You might think that the description is perfectly acceptable, and I'd say to you that it may be under certain circumstances. But, to use a sociological term, it completely overdetermines Linda Smith by already having described her as this colored woman. Because I want to say to you that that description tells you nothing about Linda Smith. Nothing. Linda Smith may be a very bad woman, doesn't tell you that. She may be a really great woman, gives you no sense at all about that. But that's how my field constitutes Linda. And I'm sorry if there are any Linda Smiths in the room. So we know Linda Smith before we've even begun to do this work of coming to try to make sense of who Linda Smith is. It's put her in a particular category of description before it has had the chance to make a proper sense of her. It constitutes a particular kind of bridge. It takes you over with suspicion, even a readiness to fight. You will say, I see you, but what you see, your perception is classified as that which is not what is actually there. So Judith Butler calls this recognition a recognition that bears features of a readiness to dominate. So I'd like to say to you, when education works well, it is very conscious of itself. It won't stop you from making classifications and judgments, but it'll put your whole sense-making apparatus, your vision and your perception on notice. It will say every waking minute of your day, I am bringing my life experience to this act of seeing, and to say to you now, what must I do now? What must I do? And I want to say to you graduates, doing that, pausing, taking your time, never see it as a weakness. Never see that as a kind of disability. Don't think that you have to instinctively always say what is at the top of your mind and at the tip of your tongue. Hold yourself. So each of us has to ask ourselves, each of us, what sense-making skills and knowledges do I have, and how do they work for me? How do you begin to take positions, postures of complete self-consciousness every single minute of your life? I'm going to say to you, of course, it's a difficult thing. But we can make it instinctive. It's going to change you. For some of you here, it will be difficult. It will make your speech, gestural and reactive responses less immediate. And people will say to you at first, you're a little stiff, aren't you? They may even say to you that you're uppity. You're full of yourself. But don't take that, I want to say to you. Don't take it. You are uppity when you are disrespectful. When you're disrespectful of people. And having formal education does do that to some of you. And I'll say to your parents, if you see that in your children, tell them. Tell them you dislike the way in which they are carrying themselves. But never be embarrassed about being cautious, about taking the time to think. Because taking that time to think is you giving honor to this education that you received. And it works well when you come into these spaces of having to make sense, and you exercise then that obligation to try to know properly This is pausing when you say, how do I now do this? So graduates, I close off by saying that you are now walking that bridge. But I'd like to say to you, please do so consciously. You are crossing with a desire to want to recognize the other for who they actually are. And they will have much that you will have to work with. It will take effort, but the value of that effort is great. You will learn. And that learning is a great, great, great thing. Sawubona, you will then say, I see the human in you. So go forward in this great journey you're about to embark on. Ready yourself to cross the difficult bridge you will encounter every single day of your life. Take with you always the great gift of your education. Make it count. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor Crane. We'll now have our SRC president to come and address our students. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you. Goeiemorgen, Harold, Nda, and Sawubona. Distinguished guests, esteemed faculty, dedicated staff, and my fellow graduates, and of course our proud parents. Today we are gathered in celebration of a remarkable journey, the journey towards educational growth and transformation. As we stand on the precipice of this milestone moment, I am filled with a profound sense of gratitude, reflection, and anticipation for the adventures that lie ahead. In the spirit of Sawubona, I extend a heartfelt acknowledgement to each and every one of you. Sawubona signifies more than just a greeting. It embodies the essence of recognition, understanding, and connection. To my fellow graduates, to our supportive families, and to the dedicated lecturers and staff of Cornerstone Institute, Sawubona. I see you. I see your dedication, your sacrifices, and your unwavering commitment towards excellence. To our families and loved ones, thank you. Thank you for your unwavering support, understanding, and encouragement throughout this journey. Your love and sacrifices and belief in our dreams have been the driving force. Today, as we don these caps and gowns, we carry with us not only our personal accomplishments, but also the collective pride and joy of our families, friends, and mentors. We have all faced challenges, embraced opportunities, and worked tirelessly to achieve our academic goals. Each one of us has a unique story of preservation, determination, and triumph. Today we celebrate not only our individual achievements, but also the collective spirit of unity, support, and camaraderie that defines the Cornerstone community. As we step into the next chapter of our lives, let us carry forward the values instilled in us by the Cornerstone: integrity, respect, inclusivity, creativity, unity, and excellence. Whether we pursue further studies, enter the workforce, or embark on entrepreneurial ventures, let us do so with courage, compassion, and a sense of purpose. To my fellow graduates, as we bid farewell to this chapter and embrace the infinite possibilities of our future, let us remember that this is not the end, but a new beginning and the commencement of a journey filled with promise, opportunity, and growth. Congratulations, class of 2024. May your paths be illuminated with happiness, success, and fulfillment. What a wonderful day. Thank you.
Thank you, Omulemu. I'm so proud of you. Yes, I think we should give him another hand. Before our band comes forward, I just want to share a little bit about them. If you look at, it says that they are the Just Friends Quintet. Now you may think we don't know how many people would be in a quintet, but we do. It's 5. You won't see 5 there, you'll see more than 5, but this is why. So Just Friends is a community-based saxophone ensemble project, which was established in 2012 due to the lack of small ensemble programs in the community. This project aims to provide talented musicians, old and young, the opportunity to develop and hone their musical skills through playing various genres like classical, jazz, pop, and sacred music. I don't know if you also felt like dancing when they did their first one. I thought it was quite, yeah. The ensemble performs in various combinations such as a quartet, a quintet, there we go, so the quintet is there, or a sax ensemble, and for various events, namely like weddings, funerals, the senior citizens' homes, graduation, and church services, the government and corporate functions, amongst others. The current group consists of 2 high school learners, 4 university students, an IT technician, a pharmaceutical rep, and 2 music teachers. 3 former members are pursuing their studies at various tertiary institutions. And one of the quotes from a member says, "Not only is this a group of friends with a passion for music, but they have become family to one another, always ready to uplift, motivate, empower through sharing knowledge and expertise with each other and others in all communities." Let's give them a hand of applause.
Music just makes every event richer and more beautiful. Thank you. Graduates, we are finally coming to you, and you're going to cross this bridge and become graduates. Mr. President, I present to you candidates who have successfully completed the qualification requirements and have fulfilled all the conditions required by the national accrediting bodies and our Board of Directors, Academic Office, and Senate. This qualifies these candidates, both present and in absentia, to be awarded the following qualifications. Our Registrar, Dr. Crystal Janica, will present the conferment of all candidates. Mr. President, I request you to confer the highest certificate upon the following candidates and upon qualifying candidates in absentia. Karen Agatha Cupido. I'm going to request the audience to only applaud after each group, because otherwise we can be here all day. Luanda Alexander Mpondo. Omulemo Tlapani. Charlotte Dieketseng Tau. Let's applaud our higher certificate graduates. Mr. President, I request you to confer the Bachelor of Arts degree upon the following candidates and upon qualifying candidates in absentia. Florence Geraldine Killian. Cherie de Jager with distinction. For that you can clap. Catherine Chelsea Stubbs with distinction. Luca Botha. Sarah Claire Wolfart with distinction. Andrea Claire Slubbert. Danielle Ann Kruger. Matthew James Denton with distinction. Lizette Magde Fortune. Danielle Fortuin. Romano Glenn Morgan. Ryan James April. Mishka Shante van der Westhuizen. Gareth Luke Byron. Anzel van Kerken. Mr. President, I request you to confer the Bachelor of Commerce degree upon qualifying candidates in absentia. I also request you to confer the Bachelor of Theology in Community Leadership upon qualifying candidates in absentia. And now, Mr. President, I request you to confer the Postgraduate Certificate in Education in Foundation Phase Teaching upon the following candidates and upon qualifying candidates in absentia. Nhlalala Zelda Chimbana. Ahida Abdul Karim with distinction. Nadira Abrams. Dunay Heringer. Alexa Nikla Hartnick. Tammy Lee Solomons with distinction. Tumelo Faith Tefel. Nicole Amber Fountain with distinction. Brittany Ellen Brink. Daniela Morgan Graney. Lesego Sharon Mokwena. Nicole Claire Wakefield with distinction. Tamarin Smith. Shivani Munthri. Candice Nagur with distinction. Megan Shani Phillips with distinction. Jerusha Bodasing Daniels. Latoya Wright with distinction. Linda Rodriguez de Menez de Almado. Katleho Morwasehla with distinction. Paige Tyler Rutherford. Amina Gallant. Resuna Jabulile Manyike. Amy Teresa Apollos with distinction. Pogeso Lensela. Chelsea Faith Arendse. Carmen Eloise Morris with distinction. Kelly McCallum. Megan Pretorius. Lisa Christina McGowan with distinction. Jamie Chelsea September. Amy Engel. Neo Surunya. Samira Voda. Let's applaud our PGCE Foundation Phase graduates. Mr. President, I request you to confer the postgraduate certificate in education in intermediate phase teaching upon the following candidates and upon qualifying candidates in absentia. Zuleika Davids with distinction. Nabila Gul with distinction. Neo Chabani. Mahlaku Leta Nhlane. James Wallesley Smuts with distinction. Shante Venter. Leonie Miller with distinction. Nelisha Marionita Daniels. Lizanne Billy Williams. Jason Gerald Lomba. Joanne Nyanisa with distinction. Shantae Leanne Dixon. Vungani Talent Mdungazi. Etienne Carlo Kurt. Kirsten Sarah Schumacher with distinction. Danielle Groenewald. Maliska Jacobs. Hafiza Ismail Asmal with distinction. Bongiwe Claudia Nkabinde. Masego Mutupe. Melissa Kate Watkins. Alexandra Marcantonis with distinction. Amy Fraser with distinction. Ellen van Wyk with distinction. Rian Werner Harmse with distinction. Nadia Celine Legrancy with distinction. Zachary Hines Power. Shante Boyson with distinction. Muhammad Khalid Rabin with distinction. Seolebaleng Magret Zondi. Let's applaud our PGCE graduates in intermediate phase teaching. Mr. President, I request you to confer the Bachelor of Arts Honours in Community Development degree upon the following candidates and upon qualifying candidates in absentia. Timinkosi Siyabulelo Plaatjies, top student. Let's applaud our BA Honours Community Development graduates. Mr. President, I request you to confer the Bachelor of Arts Honours in Psychology degree upon the following candidates and upon qualifying candidates in absentia. Lisa Chloe Skuman. Courtney Cox. Tashay Shunisa Meal with distinction. Leah Erica Raymond. Ionay van Rensburg. Camilla Havenga with distinction. Colleen Chifamba. Zilungile Sitlabane. Portia Libitsa. This student is also a colleague, Sharon Lee Engelbrecht. Busisiwe Sabelwe Dlamini. Rachel Alexandra Alford with distinction. Kirsty Ann Venter with distinction. Karen Tissink-Smith with distinction. Izaan de Wet. Kaylee Cassandra van Koller. Marjorie Louise Dick with distinction. Taylor Curtin with distinction. Marina Nicola Graaf with distinction. Maxine Caitlin Riches with distinction. Lauren Stephanie Europa. Jamie Bihardin. Anneke Roux with distinction and top student. Let's applaud our BA Honours Psychology graduates. Mr. President, I request you to confer the Bachelor of Arts Honours in Psychology BPsych equivalent degree upon the following candidate and upon qualifying candidates in absentia. Deirdre Joy Vrede with distinction and top student. Right, apparently I missed some top students. Would those that I missed please stand up that I didn't mention when you came across the stage that you were a top student? Would you please stand so that we can applaud you specially? Thank you so much, and congratulations. We will now present the Merit Awards. First of all, the Teaching Awards. Our Teaching Awards recognize teaching excellence in line with our institutional values. 2 awards per teaching semester are presented at every graduation, one for the contact or on-campus delivery mode, and the other for the distance or online delivery mode. All permanent and adjunct faculty who lecture during the relevant period are eligible for nomination. The Teaching Awards for last semester, that is semester 2 of 2023, then go to the following faculty members, and you can please come to the stage and receive your certificate. For contact mode teaching, Natalie Adams-Adonis of the Psychology Department. Congratulations, Natalie.
Thank you.
For distance mode teaching, Anel Kutsia of the Education Department. Congratulations, Anel, and you can hear the appreciation of your students, eh? The academic awards for students are presented to the top achieving graduate per qualification category. Eligible candidates must have completed the qualification within the specified time for the program. The academic awards for this graduation cohort go to the following graduates. Could you please come to the stage to be congratulated? For the higher certificate category, Charlotte Yeket Singh Tao. For the bachelor's degree category, our winner is absent, but he is Carl Cornelius Newman. Let's just congratulate him in his absence. And let's do the same for Marichelle Harmse, who is not present, but who is awarded in the postgraduate certificate category. Congratulations, Marichelle. And now for the honors degree category, Anneke Roux. Right, we'll see Anneke later. Now I'm handing over to Mr. Marcel Golding, the chairperson of our board of directors, to present the Against All Odds Award. After that, Professor Crane Sodine will present the President's Award.
Good afternoon, everyone. It's my distinct honor and pleasure to hand out the Against All Odds Award for 2024. The Against All Odds Award recognizes a graduating student who overcame unusual and extenuating circumstances. The student, against all odds, was determined to reach his or her goal, despite several obstacles, remained a Cornerstone student, continued to pass and complete their program of study successfully. The criteria for the award for courage and determination, integrity and good standing in the Cornerstone community. In this year, 2024, the Against All Odds Award goes to Florence Geraldine Killian.
Before the President comes to read out the next award, I just want to say that the recipient of that award is also not present today, but we will see that the award gets sent to them with their documents. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Hankers. So this is the President's Award for 2024. Faculty, staff, and students together nominate and decide on the student who receives the President's Award, namely a student who best represents Cornerstone's core values. While the candidate may not be the top academic performer, she must possess all the attributes we celebrate as a community. Therefore, the award is made to a final year student who has shown consistency of character, was actively involved in the broader community, supported fellow students, demonstrated academic excellence, and is spiritually, socially, and academically well-rounded. The Cornerstone President's Award for May 2024 goes to Aljanet Claudel Kassim.
Thank you very much. We're now going to listen to an item rendered by Just Friends again. I've really been enjoying their talent. I think it's I wish I could play an instrument. Anyway, we won't go there. I just think it's beautiful to hear air going into this brass thing and coming out there with a beautiful harmony. So let's listen to this item rendered by them. Thank you. That was beautiful. Thank you very much. I'm so proud of everybody sitting here. And I'm not going to say anything further because I'm supposed to do the thanks now, okay? Anyway, an occasion as auspicious as this cannot take place without the involvement of key and instrumental people. And so we just want to take the time to acknowledge and thank those people. And because it takes just a lot of us, including you, to get through to this point. So firstly, I'd like to say thank you to the chairman of our board, Mr. Marcel Golding, along with the board members, management, Cornerstone staff, Cornerstone faculty, for honoring our graduates by being here today and by celebrating with them. Your presence means a lot to our president, to everybody that's here. When it's a celebration, you know, we need to be there to uplift one another. So thank you. Then to our president, who delivered such a powerful message, we just want to say thank you for doing the graduation speech today, for reminding us of thing 1 and thing 2, and it was inspiring. Thank you. It was more than what thing 1 and thing 2. There was a deeper story behind that. Then to the Just Friends Quintet, or I don't know the 6th one, but anyway, to the Just Friends group, thank you so much for gracing us with your presence. It's been beautiful. We look forward to hearing some more as we conclude, or when we conclude. And then this venue is actually so perfect. And since we've been having our graduation ceremonies here, things have gone so smoothly. And so I want to say thank you to Ivy and Leandrid and the team from Museo Deo for allowing us the use of this space and just for the support that we always receive. Also to the graduation committee, I just want to say thank you. Some may be in here, some may be out there, but we've been working on this since February, and I just wanted to also again say thank you for everybody in that committee. To our service providers, Nikkei, who's been with us for a while, for House of Graduates, just thank you for your services. And then there's a group of people who walked alongside our graduates and were there for them when they were deprived of sleep, when they were miserable, when they did not eat because of stress. The heroes who had to see that accounts were paid and transport was covered. To the parents, husbands, wives, grandparents, uncles, aunts, siblings, friends, and children of the graduates. If you were a more matured graduate studying, you know, your children, you might have stressed them out. But I would like to say thank you. And I would actually like you guys to stand up and applaud those people in those 3 rows. So, to the people over here, you also graduated. Well done. And then lastly, to our graduates, thank you for allowing us as Cornerstone to journey with you and for attending this very, very special ceremony today. You are the reason that we're celebrating, and I want to say all of the best to each one of you. What's going to happen now is we are going to sing the anthem, and I'm going to ask everybody to rise. And after the anthem, I would like to request that you please remain standing because the procession will be taking place. But before that, our president will dissolve this assembly. So do stay seated until it is the time for you to stand. And then I'd like to ask our guests, after the procession and the graduates have exited the building, you are then welcome to go to the foyer area and yodel and yeah. Okay, so if everybody can stand, let's sing the anthem together.
Così si keleli Afrika, malupagani su ponolwayo, Israel mitanda zoyetu, così si kelela tina, lusapolwayo, Murena buluka se chavasa Jesu, ufedi se intwale matwenye o sebuluke si chavasa Jesu si chavasa South Africa, South Africa. Blow van se hemel, uit die diepte van ons see. Oor ons ewige gebergtes, waar die kranse antwoord gee. Sounds a call to come together, and united we shall stand. Let us live and strive for freedom in South Africa, our land.
By virtue of the authority conferred upon me, I now dissolve this congregation of Cornerstone Institute. Thank you.